A long time ago, in a far-away village, there lived a poor woman in a modest neighborhood called Iya Moji. Iya Moji had a small daughter, which became a comfort to her, having lost her husband mysteriously a few weeks after her being pregnant. Iya Moji was devastated by the death of her husband. I mean, who wouldn't be? But over time, she had to be strong for herself and her daughter. While growing up, Iya Moji had learned a skill of making a delicious drink from her late mom. So she decided to start a trade with the skill after deep thinking. Making this drink required her to mix palm fruit and some other special spices together, as taught by her mother. Each day, the poor woman and her young daughter went about gathering the ingredients from a bush to make the drink. It was a rigorous task, but that was the only thing they had, and they needed to survive. When the drink was ready, people would come from the neighboring villages to buy, as it was quite a delicious mixture. They would sell and make some money. This continued, but after some time, they noticed that sales started reducing until no one was coming to buy their drink anymore. And then, one day, the poor woman and her daughter, after laboring hours to prepare the drink, stayed at their normal spot to sell. They waited for buyers. Still, no one came. They waited all day into the late evening. Still, no one came to buy the drink. Meanwhile, they had no food to eat at home. At some point, the poor woman's little daughter could no longer bear the hunger anymore. So, Moji started crying. She cried so much that her tears made Iya Moji start crying also. After thinking for a while, she was forced to go to a certain rich woman in the neighborhood to beg for food. On arriving at the rich woman's house, the rich woman and her children bowed Iya Moji and drove her away from their house. Poor Iya Moji went outside the gates with her daughter and continued begging amidst tears. But the rich woman and her children did not care. Rather, they drove her further away. The rich woman and her children continued laughing and mocking Iya Moji and her daughter without any remorse, saying to her, "Yes, go out of our house. We are sending you away. We do not need anything from you. We will never want or need anything from you. Go away." And then they continue laughing and mocking Iya Moji. The poor Iya Moji and her daughter left the rich woman's house, heading to their house without any food. They felt as if they would be hungry forever. Alas, as Iya Moji and her daughter approached their house, they saw somebody standing in front of their house. At first, they did not recognize the person, but when they got closer, behold, it was Iya Moji's longtime friend. The friend said to Iya Moji that she had thought about them the day before and decided to bring them food, but couldn't come yesterday. So she came today, and she brought a lot of fruits and food with her for Iya Moji and her daughter. Iya Moji quickly opened her door, collected the food with great thanks, and began telling her friend about her ordeal. Iya Moji's friend promised to come back, as she was in a hurry to get to somewhere. Iya Moji and her daughter ate to their satisfaction and they slept off till the next day. Very early the next morning, while they were still sleeping, they heard a very loud knock on the door. Immediately, Iya Moji rushed to see who was at the door. When she opened the door, a woman introduced herself that she was from a far village. Iya Moji welcomed her into her humble home and offered her seat to sit, whilst also trying to get her water to drink or even a cup of tea. But the visitor said she was in a haste, that she had just come to deliver a message to Iya Moji. The visitor said to Iya Moji, "You have noticed that your business has not been flourishing for a while. Now, find an old man and give him a gift." She continued, "Let him say a prayer over you and go back to selling your drink. All will be well." Once she was done saying this, she begged to take her leave, and Iya Moji excused her while pondering on the message delivered to her. In a few hours after the visitor left, Iya Moji was able to locate the house of an old man. Iya Moji approached the old man with some food and fruit and begged the old man to bless her, as if she was his daughter. The old man, acting as though he was being hypnotized by Iya Moji, immediately began to bless Iya Moji. In his prayer, he said to Iya Moji, "Your hands will keep bringing forth increase. May you never experience lack another day of your life. You are blessed from today henceforth." Iya Moji left the house of the old man immediately with her daughter to start preparing to go back to selling her drink. It was as if Iya Moji was dreaming. The demand for her drink that day was 4 times more than normal. She was overwhelmed selling, but she and the daughter were very, very happy. The old man's prayer was working. From that day onward, things changed positively for Iya Moji and her daughter. From her booming business, They were able to change their house to a bigger apartment. They even bought a car, a very big one at that. Wow. Life became very good for Iya Moji and a daughter. The end. Now, the morals of the story. So, like it's a tradition here, I will say one and then you will say the rest. You will say yours by dropping it on the comment section here. Okay. So I'll say that God always comes through for us. He never gives up, sleeps, nor slumber on us. Even at the point where you think that all hopes are gone, all hopes are lost, God is aware, is right at the door knocking, okay, bringing provisions and supply for us. You know, God could use anyone to bless us. That is one. Two, it is always good to have a skill, a trade, a craft, an education, a point of contact, something you should or can always fall back at, you know. After that man blessed Iya Moji, if Iya Moji did not have a skill or a trade, she could go, you know, which would serve as a point of contact for her to be blessed. You know, that prayer would have looked like as though it didn't work. Okay, so I've said two things. You say yours by dropping it in the comment section below. And hey, do not forget to subscribe to this channel, like it, share the story, watch it with your family, friends, neighbors, enemies, and all. Okay, see you guys in our next story video. Stay glued to Story House TV. Bye bye.